Welcome, everyone, to episode 61 of the Gym Mastery Podcast. Today, we have the incredible Bobby Baum joining us. Bobby is a true Renaissance man. He runs a thriving massage therapy practice, sells top-notch fitness equipment, trades gold, and manages a ranch with his dad where they sell premium beef. Not only is Bobby wildly successful in business, but he also genuinely enjoys helping his patients recover from chronic and acute injuries. With years of experience in CrossFit and small group training, Bobby has a wealth of insights on how we can improve our gyms. Stay tuned for an enlightening conversation with Bobby Baum. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are on the Gym Mastery Podcast. I have a special guest today, Bobby Baum. Bobby is a massage therapist, but he's so much more than that, and we're going to get into all that. Normally we have gym owners or equipment manufacturers or somebody in the gym space. Bobby, however, I would say is gym adjacent because he is a massage therapist for probably half the people at my gym. So we all love him because while he makes us hurt, he makes our lives better. But he's also a serial entrepreneur, which we'll also talk about. And so anyway, I think that he has a lot of great advice for gym owners, from the medical side and also from the entrepreneurial side. So welcome, Bobby.
Thanks for having me. Excited.
Oh,
Gym
good.
adjacent. I like that. That sounds good.
What's that?
Gym adjacent.
Gym adjacent. Yeah. It's all about labels in today's day and age. And that's how I'm going to label you right now.
Oh, I told my mom about this and she's like, who's Jim? I was like, nah, that's no.
Yeah. I like already starting with the dad joke, which makes me happy.
It's fun.
Because that's how we do.
You got to open it up.
So I guess we'll start off with, and yeah, I did give him these questions ahead of time so he could at least think about it, like let him marinate in his head. But
yeah, you got to prepare.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, come on. So he has, you have an athletic background. I know that you wrestled in high school, and I mean, you've got an interesting background. You've done a lot of stuff, but tell me about your background in athletics and how you got involved in the fitness space, and like how you're involved in the fitness space, including, I guess, massage therapy.
I mean, most of my background isn't so much based on like athletics from like that time. It's mostly just watching my mom work. Like we wrestled, we played baseball. I was never really good at baseball or football. I was like super blind. So wrestling was awesome because I didn't have to really see what I was doing.
You just feel your way around. Yeah.
So it was like Braille athletics. So it was pretty sweet. But most of it was just watching my mom and like seeing how she like worked with us when we were messed up and watching her work with different teams. And
so what did your mom do?
She's a chiropractor.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, we're already learning stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
So like just be in her office was like attached to our house. So just growing up watching that kind of like work being done, it just felt like the most natural kind of thing to do.
Right.
So it was just like constant exposure. Like she taught anatomy in California, so we got to go, to lab with her and do all that stuff. So it was just a lot of like immersive anatomy, kinesiology, physiology. It was really cool growing up like that.
Well, and I will say this. So I've like many people, I've been to different massage therapists and stuff, and you go to like, there's the massage therapist at a spa with the hot rocks and that sort of thing, where it's like the spa experience. And then you go to a massage therapist that's like you, that's trying to actually improve people's athleticism and health and mobility and all that stuff. And sometimes it comes at a cost, I will say. It can be painful at times, but it's effective. But I think that my point is, I've noticed that your knowledge of anatomy and how the human body works is far beyond the average massage therapist. I mean, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you've got a mom that's a chiropractor and she was teaching anatomy.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just that exposure. I remember like we were little, like our coloring books were like college anatomy coloring books. So it was just like
it got a little awkward at times, but it's fine.
But it's like exposure. Like if you get desensitized to certain things so quickly, and bodies, it's just like when you're working on people all the time, like you're just blinded by exactly what you're doing.
Right.
So you don't ever notice any like the off stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, just I don't know. That background was so much fun watching her work because it never seemed repetitive, and she'd be working similar things constantly, but it was always like a fresh new person. Like someone's personality makes your day go by so much faster.
Right.
So like the massage therapists that like the spa stuff, I could never do that just because it was dark. You don't really have like the opportunity to like kind of build a relationship the same way.
Yeah, because
like,
they're trying to relax. They're like, don't talk to me. I just want to sleep while you
100%.
rub
There's
me.
a huge benefit for people that like are going in there for like stress relief or just taking a break from like their daily lives.
Yeah.
And like sessions with me, it's like people have their clothes on, the lights are on. I'm just uppercutting them for 30 minutes or an hour. So it's like fear opens up a lot of like good conversation.
It does.
Like the filters are gone. So I love it. I'm in there like 10 hours a day, and it is always exciting. And then just like touching base with people and seeing like what's new with their lives and adjusting and measuring like what kind of progress you're getting through the type of body work that I try and do. Mm-hmm. It's just really rewarding. And people are always surprised by it because a lot of like people's issues, like it's, pain's going to come from like trauma or dysfunction. Mm-hmm. So if you can identify like, is this from like an accident or is this from something you're doing a little bit off every day? And it's like this build up.
Chronic problems that are just kind of like 100%. Death by 1,000 cuts type.
Yeah, and you don't notice it until it's like, then where you're experiencing the pain is always, it's not going to be like where you're like feeling it that like is the main proponent of that.
Yeah, it's upstream or downstream. The cause. Your body's
compensating, adjusting, and working around it just to get you like to, just from A to B. Mm-hmm. So like slowing things down and looking at like how you sit, how you stand, how you drive, how you sleep, like those things, even aside from the fitness stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the things you don't, like you're not thinking about taking, deep breaths while you're breathing. So like getting in a routine and like trying to be a little bit more cognizant of like what you do.
Yeah.
Like it pays off huge.
So what do you think about meditation work? Are you a big fan?
I think anything that's going to like adjust like cortisol, I think is awesome. I think slowing down and kind of like prioritizing like what your goals are for that day is awesome. Like I'm a huge list person. So it's like I'll make lists. I'll try and, slow down, try to like tune out the noise just so I can establish a plan of attack. And I guess that's the closest thing to meditation that I'll kind of do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a lot going on, man. I mean, every time I talk to you, you tell me the things you've done that day. You know that old Army commercial? It's like, we do more before 9 in the morning than most people do all day. I'm like, you do more before 5 in the morning than most Army Rangers do all day.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You're busy.
That's my problem. It's just not, I can't say no.
Yeah. I mean, but it's good because you clearly have the energy to do it, and you have a level of organization in your life, lists and that sort of thing that's good enough to get you to where you're productive and happy. Yeah.
And I surround myself with people that are like, my business partner for my fitness equipment company is amazing. So it's like, I'm always trying to like piggyback and learn off
And that's
people.
Scott Peterson, right?
Scott Peterson.
We got to throw a shout out to Scott.
Yeah, that guy
Scott's a cool dude.
He is neat. Yeah. And he's just super humble, super successful. And when you like surround yourself with people that are that good at stuff and they're not telling you that they're that good, they're just like, you see it you're orbiting around it, and it's just impressive.
Well, and that's actually a good segue into thinking and talking about gym ownership, which is primarily our viewers. I mean, right there, that's a fundamental thing that you want to do. You want to surround yourself with people that have the right attitude, that are motivated, and they're uplifting. If you have coaches at your gym that are, like Eeyore, oh, bother, like just get rid of those people. They do not belong there.
Well, then it just makes it, I feel like for CrossFit especially, you've got like peer pressure, you've got camaraderie, you've got this.
There's a fine line between the two, by the way.
100%. But like some people like don't get that after high school sports,
right?
And you're getting to reintroduce them to that, which is super powerful.
Yeah.
And then when someone's fun, it's not just like you're going to the gym. You're going to see your buddies. You're going to hang out. You're going to BS. And I think that's one of the reasons why CrossFit is so popular.
I think it's a huge reason why. Yeah. I mean, it is effective, and it also can potentially have a lot of drawbacks, which is where you come in.
Oh, yeah. I need to thank everyone that started CrossFit because they have made my business a business.
That's right. That's right. And hey, here's the thing. Like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion, right? So you get people that come in from CrossFit, and overall they're healthier because they do it. But yeah, they can have soft tissue injury. They can have chronic, problems that are caused by poor mechanics and just poor decisions, really.
Absolutely.
But, is the trade-off worth it? And in my opinion, it is. I think that, if that's the thing that's going to get you off the couch, long-term, you're going to be overall healthier. Yeah, you might have some joint issues and stuff, but, you want to use your body while you got it.
You're either going to have body pain or diabetes.
Right. Exactly.
So like,
it's like choose your pain. Right?
100%. At least you can control the pain. Like, and with CrossFit, I think CrossFit is, if you can check your ego, I don't think there's something that's better than CrossFit. Like if you slow yourself down, you're not trying to like compete with some If it's like your first day to a class and there's a girl like half your size and she's lifting more than you with some complex motion, like movements, don't try to like outlift her.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years, and that still happens to me. It happened today. It's terrible.
Ego is going to be the biggest like crippler. And if you can slow that down and just be like, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
And there's some things that I feel like they bring me more business. I don't say I don't like the movements, but like if people, didn't, and if you're competing, you have to train and you have to be efficient with the movement.
Right.
So it's out of your hands.
It's a trade-off, yeah.
Handstand push-ups bring me so much money.
Yeah.
Deadlifting, so much money.
Yeah.
So and if you think about handstand push-ups, like, yeah, in theory, if you're doing it perfect, you're supported, you're braced. But everyone you watch in a competition is just
slams their head on the
tapping
ground.
the tiniest vertebrae in their body under all their body weight.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have issues.
Yeah.
Like, you're flirting with issues constantly.
Yeah. So, it can be a dangerous movement for sure.
100%. But everything's dangerous. I mean, people are on road bikes. They get smashed by cars. Like, if you're afraid to get hurt, like, you're not going to
live. Yeah.
Like,
you got to live your life. That's absolutely true.
There's no sport that I see skiers constantly tearing ACLs. I work on, and pickleball's beating the bejesus out of people.
It's hilarious, right? It's like
orthos love pickleball right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, pickleball was meant to be a sport. As far as I know, it first of all, it's repurposing tennis courts that aren't really being used.
Oh yeah.
It's accessible for people that aren't as mobile, that they can't run all the way across a tennis court, so they can still be active. But it draws in the elderly. And you get people that have been on the couch for a long time, and they're like, "Oh, there's this new sport, pickleball. Let's try that out." And they've been pretty sedentary, so they're like you said, flirting with danger, flirting with disaster. They're going to hurt themselves from time to time.
100%. I think pickleball, like right now, totally does for the elderly community what CrossFit does for professionals.
Yeah,
it's like you're getting this new community where like-minded people get to like ease into something and take it as crazy as they want to.
Right.
But you just get that socialization back, and I feel like that's especially in like today's like age. It's like everything's so isolating. Mm-hmm. Like people deliver your food. You never have to leave your house. Everything's streamed. Like there's a lack of engagement and like eye contact. And I think when you have groups like that where you can collect and see people and like get your hands on people and laugh and hang out and just go do something. Like,
dude,
I feel like
you're making me want to go off on a vitriol about how much I hate social media.
Oh, dude, social media just stresses me out.
It's not good. It's
so
not
bad
good
at
for
it.
the health of our nation. It's anything but social. It usually turns into like the comment section, everybody trolling each other. I go on and on about how much I don't like social media, but there have been literal movies about the social dilemma and about how big of a problem these things are. So I don't need to say it, but yes, I believe that one of the things that CrossFit and by the way, a lot of our gym, a lot of the people that listen to this are not CrossFit gym owners. They're just functional fitness, like small gyms.
Oh, yeah.
And they may or may not be affiliated with CrossFit. But that small group training is so valuable because, like you said, I mean, people are working from home and they're not getting out of the house, but they come down here and they have that eye contact and they talk to people and they put their phones away for an hour and do something physical. It's like the healthiest thing they could do, not just because of the exercise, but from the socialization aspect. It's super valuable.
Well, and there's so many people that don't really understand how to socialize.
Right.
And like all of these crazy things that are always happening on the internet and like everyone's, falling apart mentally, like getting around like-minded people that like go to work, don't start fires. They're too tired to like burn shit down.
Right.
Like it's nice when you just be mellow and interact with people that are just like you.
Yeah.
And you might not have nothing in common with those people other than the fact that you go to work, you're responsible, and you've got an hour outlet where you can just like leave your stress on the floor.
Yeah.
I think it's super powerful.
Yeah, it's like you said, anything that lowers cortisol, right?
Oh yeah.
And working out is definitely one of the main things you can do for that. So let's shift gears a little bit. So, you are as I said, a serial entrepreneur. I think it borders on being a problem, but
totally is a problem. My wife thinks it's a problem. I tried to start a business for my wife the other day.
Did you? She's like, no, just stop.
She's like,
just
stop everything alone.
But that having been said, your therapy practice is incredibly successful. You can't, like, I can't get in to see you, basically. You're like weeks out to get in to see you. So that's successful. And from what you've said, all the other things seem to be successful as well. I mean, we've bought fitness equipment from you. You sell. Oh, by the way, those caltrops. We need to get some more of those. So don't let me forget. Those are great.
Oh, I meant to bring those.
Well, I'll swing by your place and get them. But he makes these. He's invented what he calls, well, I don't. They're like muscle stash, right? But they're
It's like a stash spike. I mean,
stash
like
spike. It looks like a
light all
caltrop.
that. Oh, it's so aggressive, and everyone's like first reaction of it, they're like,
Yeah.
they think it looks like a sex toy, but it's not a sex toy. Don't use it as one.
No, I mean, please don't, because we use those, and I don't want to touch it.
No.
But it's
not
good
enough
for the
bleach in the world.
psoas. It's good for a lot of things.
Iliacus, I mean, plantar fasciitis. It's nice too because you can use this tool as you don't have to get on the ground to use it. You can
Right.
like lean up against a wall.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I feel like I feel like people will do more things actively if they don't have to get on the ground.
Right.
So like you're gonna like strip out your pec or your lat, or you can like put it at an angle and lean into it and smash your traps. Like it's really diverse, and
Yeah.
it's I don't know. It gives you a lot of control without having to like drag a bag of things around.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of the Swiss Army knife of mobilizing and just it's great. So we use it a lot. We're gonna get some more from you. So list your businesses that you're actively involved. I mean, you may have some that are a little bit defunct that you've kind of abandoned in the past, but what's actively happening right now?
So my like three main ones are Baum Therapy,
Okay.
Muscle Stash. That's the fitness equipment company.
And that's the IASTM tool.
Yes.
Yes.
So the scraping is awesome. I think it's a great thing for everyone to get into learning. It's just like learning how to take better care of yourself. I feel like should be like a priority. And you don't have to get like one of my tools, but you can get something and get on YouTube. And I mean, education is free.
Yeah.
For anything. It's like it's a matter of like you just prioritizing your time to learn something that's going to be good for you.
Exactly.
But so there's that, and then we started a beef business. So me and my dad started a ranch, and that's been going awesome. And then I have a gold business, so I sell like nuggets.
Yeah, you were saying you sell to a guy in the building that we're in right now.
I know Reno's so small. Like,
Yeah.
it's like total Kevin Bacon everywhere you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I've got like two other businesses. They're kind of like not real. I mean, I do them randomly. Like I have like a little mini web design business, and then like a photo digitizing business.
Yeah.
So
And then I feel like that. Well, what about your fitness equipment business? Is that
That's
just all
Muscle
under
Stash.
Muscle Stash?
Yeah.
Okay, because you've got the ISTM tool, but then you've got the caltrop, and then you have like a warehouse full of ab mats and things like that.
oh yeah, and like that business has been cool because with Scott, it's like we started off with the scraper, designed that out, and then we just started pivoting and started getting foam rollers, and then it kind of turned into like a procurement business for like other gym, like fitness equipment companies.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like, it's been cool to like adjust and pivot and not put yourself in like such a tight spot where you can't like free up and, recognize something else that's kind of trendy and jump into that and kind of be more fluid.
So, and the reason I wanted to talk about the entrepreneurialism is, as we've said, you're gym adjacent. So you are involved. I mean, your business partner, Scott, owned a CrossFit gym for a long time, CrossFit Sparks Elite. He's a good CrossFitter, super
he's a
strong
tank.
dude. Yeah.
That guy's a beast.
I mean, I think he was like right around 50 and he cleaned 300 pounds. So he's not weak.
No, and he just got like a new knee.
Wow.
And he still does all that stuff.
It's like the bionic man now.
He is. He's
Does
a
it have
bulldozer.
hydraulics in it?
It should.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so you've got these, you've been involved in kind of the gym world for a long time, but what advice would you give these small gym owners, these studio gyms and CrossFit gyms and that sort of thing? What things are they doing right? What things are they doing wrong, in your opinion?
I mean, I think probably the most important thing, or I guess, I don't know, if you could slow your members down and like not let like that aggro kind of race component get involved, like
Right.
if that's not the main like focal point, you keep people from getting hurt. And a
Yeah.
lot of those small gyms lose people because I feel like everyone's trying to be like the loudest or the fastest or the biggest.
Yeah.
And like your bread and butter is people in their 40s trying to lose weight and
yeah.
feel better about themselves.
Totally.
If you're focusing
that's how you change the world. You don't change the world by
No.
taking somebody who's already an elite athlete and trying to get them to the games or something.
if you have a jack 23-year-old that doesn't have any money, I mean,
They're not going to pay you,
no,
it turns
it's,
out.
it's not all. It's not about money, but like making sure that you're like catering to a group of people that can keep you doing what you love.
Yeah.
And you can see and they see like what you're doing for them. Mm-hmm. Like there's no losers.
I mean, I have to say, I mean, that is literally why back before I started working for the Level Method as their software developer, I joined the Level Method as a gym. I saw Nathan Holliday, the founder, on a webinar, and I think I listened to him talk for like 5 minutes, and I immediately called. And back in the day, that was, I know you don't know Scott Ramage, but he was the salesman for the Level Method. And I was like, all right, I want to join. And he's like, well, let me show you what it's, I'm like, no, I already know enough that I know that I want to join, because exactly that. It was, we are providing the people at our gym an infrastructure within CrossFit so that we're not focusing purely on the, like the prescribed versus scaled. Like, if you, and I've always hated that. Even at the very beginning, it was like this race to try to get, everybody wanted to do the RX workout, because if you didn't, you were like kind of a loser, right? Like that it wasn't said out loud.
Total ego thing.
But it was totally ego, right? And it was always about like getting the best time and the leaderboard. And like there are gyms, so many gyms where they have to put out like a message to their members that say, hey guys, stop cheating on the workouts because it's not really very cool. And like, that's ridiculous. What kind of culture is that? Where people are, cutting reps and stuff just so they can have a better leaderboard time. And that's not going to get us to where we slow down and try to work on technique and mechanics and do things that are safe, like that's, so I love that advice, man. Slow down, slow your members down. But that's not, it's not we should slow down, wink, it's a overall cultural overhaul.
Oh yeah.
To say, let's focus on the right things.
Don't be so quantitative.
Yeah.
Don't race who's next to you. Make sure you're moving well. And if you can't do the movement, scale something out. I mean, like, switch it out for something. There's so many options with CrossFit. I think that's why it's so amazing.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you get hurt, it's because you don't want to stand out by doing something differently, and you're not at the same point that someone is that's next to you.
Right.
And scaled versus RX, like, I mean, I don't know any person that's, like, that far, like, or that similar body type, coordination, like there's too many variables.
Yeah.
And I mean, snatching, deadlifting, I mean, some of those movements, like they're amazing, but I mean, deadlifting kind of is, but there's a lot of like non-ambulatory actions that you're not training yourself to be a better person and interact in like your community. You're going on hikes. Like you're not going to snatch your luggage into an overhead compartment.
I did that in Mexico.
You better.
I snatched my luggage.
I want to see a video. But I mean, like certain things, like it's cool. It looks awesome.
Yeah. Well,
it's
and the thing is though, is it's fun.
And that's what
it draws people in.
Popular.
Yeah.
Because you have that community, you have competition, you have like these things that kind of, I don't know, just interact in a different way that doesn't make you feel like you're just at your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Which is powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It gets you to step out of that. So, so I got to ask you, I know we've talked about this before, and I want to say it on the podcast so that people listen to it and hear it, especially the local people in Reno. But you have a reputation for being
gentle,
not gentle, for being mean. Like just, I mean, I will, full disclosure, I have actually screamed out loud in his office, and he's like, hey, best day ever, like always trying to get my mind off it, ask me about jokes and stuff. But I also know that you treat, older people, kids, and you meet them where they are and you give them what they need and what they want. As far as, somebody comes in and they're just like, I have a really low pain threshold. You can't just like go at me. And you're like, okay, yeah, no problem. I'm going to work with you where you are. With me, you're like, I'll stop anytime. And I'm like, is it going to make me better? Yeah. Then I'm like, just keep going. It hurts like hell, but I don't care. Like I just want the results. That's what I want. So,
Guantanamo Bob.
But what is your methodology overall? Like, what is your attitude going into any therapy session when you meet a new person?
I mean, the first thing I'm always looking at is just slack. I'm looking for space.
Yeah.
If a lot of times, like if the issue's coming or stemming from like dysfunction, your posture is going to be off. Like your body's going to be like holding itself in an awkward way. You're going to be like over recruiting and under delivering. So if we can get in and identify like what is not hitting those normal range of motions, like then we can kind of work out. And I'm just trying to like separate your integumentary system from the musculature.
Right.
In a healthy way, because we don't want those two systems to be dependent of each other. We want them to support each other, but we don't want it to be like adhered and not letting one do the job that it should be.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as far as like the level of aggression and all of that, you just kind of have intuition, and you just
Yeah,
know
it's just body
what people want, what
Yeah.
they don't want.
If you're laughing and squirming, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
If the tone of your voice, like your pitch changes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ease up.
Yes.
Because the goal, like you're in total control in the office. Like
Right.
you've never felt like you're just like on a shitty roller coaster,
Yeah.
getting smacked with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
If you're like, stop, I'm not gonna be like, deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have felt like that, but
We have an
but I
understanding,
felt like
though.
I wanted to be on it, you
Yeah.
know? I was like, let's go.
know.
Let's go for the ride, you know?
I think that's people's like main thing is like once they know that like they're in control and it's not,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hurt you.
No.
Like my goal is not to like just show you how much
Pain
like,
you could
Yeah,
take.
'cause I could create a lot.
Oh, sure.
I could,
Yeah.
but it's not like that's not the goal. It's like
No.
but it's the shortest distance to a result that you're looking for.
Right.
And like same thing, like when people come to your gym, do you think they're gonna get like would they be getting a better workout by themselves in their garage or having someone like hyping them up, pushing them, showing them like
Right.
what they're doing wrong and critiquing things? Like my goal in my office is like I want to teach people how to not need me. I want to work on them whenever they want, but I want if they're on vacation or doing something else, like I want them to know like how to kind of assess themselves,
Right.
And at least buy themselves a little slack.
Yeah, and that's why the muscle stash was born, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're providing tools and by the way, for the CrossFit Initiative listeners out there, we still are going to schedule the Saturday morning mobility
Oh, yeah,
session
no, I'm looking
where you're
forward
going
to
to come in and show us how to use the Caltrop and maybe even the muscle stash. So
I get so spiked.
it'd be great. Yeah,
Stash
totally,
spike.
totally. So let's see. I had a couple other questions for you before we move on. Yeah, so we didn't really get into this. So you kind of talked about what CrossFit gyms and functional training gyms should do, from your opinion, which is just like slow people down, get them to be a little bit more methodical about what they do, make better choices, and to realize that the vast majority of people are just trying to be fitter. They're trying to be healthier. They're trying to improve their quality of life. And if you go in and rip your shoulder up and tear two of your four rotator muscles, then you're not going to increase your quality of life. You're going to decrease it. So
And it's going to like hurt the community because you're going to talk shit about CrossFit.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with CrossFit. It has everything to do with like ramp up. I think that's the cool thing about like the level methods. Like the on-ramping thing I think is very impressive. And I think it's smart and just being able to check your ego and like take a step back and not compare yourself to someone that's been doing CrossFit for 10 years when you start.
Yeah.
And don't get frustrated. Like, and be in a community that everyone's supporting you and picking you up. I think some of my favorite parts about CrossFit are how these different gyms in Reno like interact with each other.
Yeah.
And like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of other businesses, I feel like everyone's like in competition. They're acting like there's a scarcity of like people.
There's
willing to
plenty
sign
of
up.
people in Reno.
There's so many people.
Yeah.
Like-
And so many that would benefit. But what I wanted to get into was the business side of things.
Yeah.
So, I just got back from the Two Brain conference, which was super cool. It got me all pumped up. Jason Kalipa talked about his new book, which I really liked. I did a blog post on that. As many reps as possible. You should definitely get it. It's a short, it's a quick read. It's really good.
I met him in California like in 2014. Super
Yeah.
nice guy.
Yeah. And he is also quite the serial entrepreneur. He's super ambitious when it comes to business, and he's got a really good business mind. But, Two Brain is all about like the fundamentals, like the 6 metrics. They talk about, like the length of engagement and your average revenue per member and that sort of thing. It's like, so what things outside, just that transcend the business of gyms, would you say are fundamental business concepts that every business owner, small business owner, should be mastering?
Oh, I mean, just networking. That is going to be like the most important part of anything involving CrossFit.
Yeah.
Get out, like do fundraiser, like golf events, like exposure. I feel like there's a lot of people just get trapped in their office because I think running a gym, that sounds like a scary endeavor to me.
It is.
It is. It's super. I mean, like that stresses me out. Like,
Yeah.
Because you've got this huge space, like rent is crazy expensive.
It is.
And
It's
you have to
getting
have
worse.
People come in constantly. Everything's dialed in. You've got to be like finding, products to sell. Just consumables that like are always helping balance out those margins. But the more you network and the more you're doing things, and I feel like that's the only route where you're gonna like keep that steady flow of like referrals and putting yourself out in front of people.
Right.
And, like the more tools you can use to like buy your time back, I feel like find out like what is gonna save you from just being stuck behind the computer.
Right.
So you can get out in front of people, so you can show off what you're doing.
What
and
kind
how
of things do you do to buy back your time at
God.
Baum Therapy?
I use ChatGPT. I clone my voice. All of my accounting is automated. All of my scheduling is automated. I don't even deal with money at all.
Really?
No.
You just look in your bank account and say, wow, it's there.
I'm like, oh, how'd that get there?
Yeah. That's great.
A lot of uppercuts.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's nice because like then before I built my website and did all that stuff, I would spend like 3 hours after I just worked for 11 trying to play musical chairs with schedules and balance the stuff out, and I'd have gaps, and just having the calendar like on my website so people could see what's available. Mm-hmm. It just chews it up, and it lets me focus more on like how I can like make the biggest impact on who's on the table,
right?
Instead of like taking money, rescheduling, like all those little things.
Yeah.
Like use the tools that are out there to get you back in front of your people.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, you know, one of the nice things, I finally convinced my wife after several years. We were a level method gym for a long time, but she wouldn't let go of the programming. And I finally got her to just say, okay, I let go, and we're going to use the level method programming as is. Now, rarely, very rarely, they'll prescribe something where there's equipment that maybe we don't have. But for the most part, it's like 99.9% of the time, we can do the programming as written because we have very standard equipment. When we did that, it saved her so many hours. And she was like, why didn't I do this a long time ago? I'm like, well, because you don't listen to me. That's why. I am very wise. I think you should know that.
My wife doesn't listen to me either. She's wiser than I am.
This is going to turn into a support group real quick.
We're going to start a club.
It's a therapy session, yeah. But yeah, using the tools that are available to you to leverage so you're not doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and it goes back to ego. Like, people don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Create a good environment. Use the tools that are going to like, because you're not good to anyone if you're just stuck in your office stressing about memberships and how to spend money on marketing in this spot and see what the ROI on that is. Like, it's exhausting, and you don't let yourself have little wins.
Yeah.
Automate what you can, get in front of people, and you celebrate the little wins because you'll like meet someone totally new that is hyped about what you're doing, and they're going to bring all their friends in.
Yeah.
Like, exposure is, I mean, the gym thing is scary. Every time I think about the gym thing, it stresses me out.
It's like running a restaurant. Restaurant's terrifying. Even worse. There's no subscriptions. It's just if people don't come in for 3 days.
Oh, well, then everyone's stealing from you, too. All your employees are giving shots to their friends.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, the restaurant industry is like probably the most scary thing there is. But I digress. So, yeah, so the get exposure, get out there, network. That's super important so that people know you exist. Then automate your systems so that people can become your customers easily. And you're not dealing with the logistics of getting people on the table or in the gym or whatever. And then what would be one more, if you can think of anything else that's like a fundamental? If
there's something you don't like doing, go do that thing.
Really?
Yeah. One, your brain only really, and I don't know how true this is, but I heard this and I thought it was awesome. But I mean, you're not growing your brain unless you're stressing it out.
Sure.
And time goes by so fast when you fall into your routines.
Yeah.
Like if you want to slow time down and enjoy your life, like learn how to play the piano or speak Spanish or do something like that. But public speaking, if that's not your thing, like go out and do that. And if for gym, I feel like give away a bunch of like find like a demographic that, you know, would be willing to pay for your services if they knew what it was, and give them free stuff. Give them time. Give them a 4-pack of classes. You're teaching class anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're going to expose them to new people. They might know people there, but like if you're already there doing that and you have open spaces, give that away for free.
Yeah. I mean, not forever, right?
No.
But get them in there.
Yeah. Give them exposure. Show them what like CrossFit is, what initiative's all about, like what the level method is. Like the exposure is, you're already doing it. It's not taking up any more of your time.
Right.
Like, don't give away all your shirts for free. But like,
yeah, because those are they have a unit cost to them.
That is expensive.
There's no economy of scale there.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, I love Reno because there's always something fun going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's more fundraising golf tournaments. I mean, there's always something you can piggyback on.
Right.
And then you're just, I mean, when you scratch people's back, people scratch your back.
It's true.
So it's just exposure, interaction. I mean, anytime someone asks me to do a podcast, like, I'm 100% down.
You said you were just on Swolverine, right? Like a couple weeks ago.
So fun.
Yeah.
But it always stresses me out, like talking and being recorded and like doing stuff on social media. Like I do not like that until I'm in it.
Yeah.
And then I feel okay. But I always stress myself out like preemptively.
Well, don't worry. I'm going to take all the clips that I can out of context and put them up on TikTok of you that make you look terrible.
Can you just add every like fourth word?
Yeah.
I did that on Swolverine. I counted that. I was like, oh no.
That was, I was noticing you say like a little bit, but
I say like so much.
But I was noticing it wasn't as bad as the average person in America right now. Like, and for God's sake, stop saying literally. Don't say literally anymore.
Yeah.
It's just overused. The word is literally overused.
They'll use literally to describe literally what they're doing. And
yeah, exactly. It's terrible. It's terrible.
And when I use like, I need to stop it because it's awful, but I'm describing something situationally. And I don't notice it because I'm not using it as like a space filler. It's comparative.
Sure.
Which doesn't justify it. I should expand my vocabulary.
Stop comparing things so much.
I know. I overanalyze
it's
everything.
It's a problem, man. It's a problem.
Issue.
Yeah.
It is a thing.
Yeah.
But exposure. I mean, like if something stresses you out, get in front of it.
Yeah.
And it's not scary. And if you screw up, who cares? Like no one's
well, it's kind of like the God, not Nathan Holiday, but Holiday. He wrote. He's a big Stoic. I can't believe I'm forgetting his first name, but he wrote "The Obstacle is the Way," and essentially attacking obstacles is the way to go. And I think that's kind of the fundamental point you were making there. So. Yeah. But I like that. You know, get exposure, automate, leverage, and then do the hard thing.
Yeah, and I think like
make you better.
If you are a business owner and want to try something new, I think stoicism is a sweet spot to look just to calm you down.
It is.
And it's like nothing is going to be as bad as you're making it.
Well, I will say one of my mantras right now in the middle of like really hard workouts. Today we had a partner workout, 150 thrusters for time with at the top of every minute 5 burpees. In our gym, we're kind of sadists, so we start with burpees. So 5 burpees to start the workout. And you just trade off. One partner does thrusters at a time. And during it, when I'm really hurting in the burpees, I always go back to, I think it was Seneca that said, we suffer more in our minds than we do in reality. And and it is totally true. You know, I'm thinking about, you know, when I'm really hurting, I always go back to that. I'm like, this, you know, most of the pain is imagined, actually.
I think 100%.
With the exception of being on your table. That's real. That hurts a lot.
That's definitely different.
But there's a payoff, you know. So
and it's worth it. I feel like if you can have 25 minutes of like really just, you know, controlled, productive torture, it's totally worth just feeling shitty all day forever. Like, if you
to avoid feeling crappy all the time. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. It's pick your pain.
Yeah, and the response is immediate. Like, you're going to know, like when I have new people come to my office, I'm not going to say, oh, let's get you in here for 6 sessions and see if it feels better.
Yeah.
Like, do one. If you feel, 30% better, we want to make sure that the metrics are there so we can measure something.
Yeah.
And if I'm not for you, like, I'm going to send you to someone that's like, if chiropractic is more of like what I think the issue is, I'm going to get you to a chiropractor. I'm not going to have you come into my office and waste your time.
Exactly. You're not the one tool, the one ring to rule them all, right?
You're send them out. Like referrals, like one is trust. Like I want trust.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to fill my schedule. I'm honestly tired.
Well, it's the same thing at a CrossFit gym. You know, if somebody comes into your gym and they have, fused vertebrae and they've got, severely arthritic shoulders and, maybe CrossFit isn't for them. Now that having been said, you might have a product at your gym where you're like, well, we also do, Pilates or whatever. That's fine. But for some people, maybe shouldn't be picking.
But you can slow it down with CrossFit.
It's true. I mean, it's true.
Ambulatory function should be the goal of every activity.
It's just, does your gym provide the product that person needs? And there are cases where maybe they don't. Like maybe they're an adaptive athlete and your gym just isn't set up to handle adaptive athletes, but there's another gym down the road, which is actually the case in Reno. There is a gym.
Upstate's amazing.
Yeah, that has adaptive athletes and they're great for adaptive athletes. And I would be remiss if I didn't send people there because I'm like, look, they know more about it than us. They have more equipment than us. They're set for you. So be honest and have trust. So you're like, if I tell you that you should be here, I believe it.
100%.
That's it. Yeah.
CrossFit's awesome because like you can do so much with nothing.
Right.
Like there's so much body weight stuff. There's so much.
Well, yeah, you don't need the elaborate machines, which I like. I mean, and the machines aren't bad. They, that's a whole other topic. But regardless, you can have pretty Spartan stuff.
So much with because it's like as you get older, it's gonna be like getting on and off the toilet and getting in and out of bed. That is your independence.
Exactly.
If someone else has to wipe your ass, take care of that part of your life, life's harder.
It is.
And pride is a powerful thing. And when you don't have that, and you don't have independence, I mean, I spent a ton of time, like, before I started my business, I was doing, wanted to be a chiropractor, and there were so many in here, it kind of turned me off to it. So I did a bunch of shadowing and physical therapy, and I was like, this is awesome, but I don't like just this side of it. And then I did like a ton of hours doing occupational therapy. And that was the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
And it was like failed suicides and diabetic amputees and like low socioeconomic kind of groups that it was like people were just dropping their family members off to die. And they could not move. And I have clients that are in their 90s that are amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't prioritize your health, you're going to pay for the lack of it.
Yeah.
And ambulatory function is more important than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why this stuff's so good.
Absolutely.
Because you maintain that. So anyway, well, I know you're super busy. You do like at least 11 hours a day of massage, but today's like your one day where you get to back off a little bit, which is awesome.
That's right. Just selling cows today.
All right. Sell that beef.
That's right.
Sell that beef. All right. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate you coming in, taking the time.
Yeah.
You're doing some networking. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
And, we'll get this thing published here in the next day or two. And you can share it with the world so they can see what a stand-up fellow you are.
You're a stand-up fellow.
No, it's you.
No, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on. This was awesome.
All right.
And this gear is sweet. I feel like we're
in a real studio.
I know.
Yeah.
It looks expensive.
It's kind of expensive. It's
expensive
affordable.
Enough.
Yeah, you could do it.
I don't want to do it.
All right, man.
I don't want to be a host. I like being a guest.
That's the way to go.
I just like to answer questions.
It's like, don't buy a boat. Just find somebody that has a boat and go out with them. Yeah,
that's the best advice you would ever give anybody.
That's right. Don't ever buy a boat.
Don't buy a boat.
And we'll end with that.
All right.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, bye. Thanks so much for joining us. If you know someone that would benefit from this podcast, please share it with them. It's our goal to bring valuable information to the people on the front lines of health and fitness, and I hope we did that for you today. Also, if you enjoyed the Gym Mastery podcast, please review us and leave up to a 5-star review. We'll see you next time.